Hey, it's Abigail. Thank you so much for coming and joining me for another Tuesday weekly video. So today I'm going to be talking about plot outlines. So I know there are a bunch of different plot outlines, and there's even more than I can even think of, but I generally just use two. Okay, well, technically I just use one, but this book that I'm writing right now, I'm trying out a different tactic, and it seems to be going pretty well, so I might start doing half and half of my plot outline tactics. That one tactic is I will start at the beginning of the book. You want to have a good hook in order to get people interested in your writing, because if you can make people interested in wanting to keep reading the book, then chances are you'll have a better rate of selling the book if you want to someday be able to do that, or things like that where you can just get a lot more attention if you have a good hook. So the way I go about making a good hook is I will just start writing. I don't really think about where it's going to end. I just know this is an idea that's come to my mind and I want to get it down on paper before I forget it. So I'll just start writing, maybe 3 pages long, and then I will stop and go back and start editing it. So I will go and tweak things and read it to make sure that it either makes sense or that it's captivating. If it's not very captivating, then I will find a part that's not captivating and change it to make it better. So I love to just do that where I will start it and write a little bit, then I will go back and edit it. That way I know where my story is going to go. Because if I edit something and it can sometimes, if you're especially at the beginning of a book, it can change the whole dynamic of the book and where the book is going to go. So you want to be careful with that. If you're starting a book and just at the very beginning, you want to make sure that you have the plot that you want, like the beginning where it's going to go. You want that to be correct before you start writing anything else. If you actually want to go change it, then you'll have to change the rest of the book if you've already written a bunch more. So that is one thing I will do, is I will start a book and not even know where it's going to end. That can be fun. It can also make you kind of feel stuck and like you don't know where to land the plane per se. Like you can just start it, and then if you don't know at all where it's going to end, then sometimes you can feel disappointed in yourself because you haven't gotten to a place where it seems like it should end, or you just haven't thought of it. And sometimes it's a little tricky to just be motivated to keep writing. If you're thinking of a story and you know that you want this to be a story, but you don't even know where it's going to end, then sometimes it can be difficult. But like I said, I've used this tactic for years and it worked really well for me. Now I know it's not going to work well for everybody, so there are definitely other tactics to use. Another one I'm going to be talking about is the one that I am now using in my new book. So this one is a tactic that I do not like, or I should say I didn't like it before I started using it. I'm now just using it in one of my books, and I am liking how it is so far. The tactic is you write out as simple as you can, and this is hard for me because my writing style is I will just go and I will make things as fluffy as they can be per se. I don't want just a skeleton of the book. I don't want just an outline. I want to make it full of details from the beginning. But this tactic is not that. It is to write the skeleton of the book first. And that is really difficult for me because that's not my personality. That's not my type of writing. But it's stretching me in a good way, and I'm actually turning out to like it, which I didn't think was going to happen, but it's happening. So, yay. Basically, I will start the book, and I'm just writing out, maybe it's like, I want to say maybe 5 pages, 6 pages long, something like that, where I will just start writing, and I have like chapters 1 through, I think it's 1 through 3, and then I'll have that on one page and write what's going to happen in there, but just the bare minimum. So I'll be like, this person's going to get chased into the woods, and then everybody who was with them is going to flee, and when they actually go back to look for that person, the person is gone. That way it's talking about it, but at the same time it's leaving out a ton of detail to go back and fill in later when I actually start writing the book. So I'll do that on one page, then on the next, chapters 4 through 7. You don't need to just do 3 chapters at a time. That's what I've been doing, just because it seems the most simple. So I have the chapters written out to 15 chapters. You can pick the amount of chapters that you want right away. And then I'm doing it where you can choose what happens in those chapters. That seems to be helping me to be able to still kind of write it the way I like to write it. Otherwise, you could, I guess, I had started doing this and then I changed it. You could just write out what you want to happen, and then as you go think, this is a good stopping point, and you change chapters. But I decided that I would just write it out right away as I was writing the backbone or like the skeleton of the book. That way I could say, in these chapters, this is what's going to happen. In these chapters, this is what's going to happen. And that way I wouldn't have to do that as I was writing the story. So I'm still going to have to do that, like in chapter 1, I'm going to have to pick the first thing that happens, then chapter 2 and chapter 3. But I know in those 3 chapters what's going to happen. I just need to divide it up between those 3. So those are the 2 ways that I will write stories. I haven't started writing the book for the new book that I'm writing currently, but I've written the skeleton of it, and I might tweak the skeleton a little bit before I begin, because I want to have my story right before I actually start completely writing it and putting, say, the meat on the bones in order to, like, fill it in. So that is what I am doing right now, and I really hope this video was helpful. If you know anybody who happens to need help starting a book, then please send them over my way. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next week. Bye!